Hello, John Worth here again, classical musician, conductor, writer. I also love baby metal, so YouTube is now convinced I need more Hanabiye. Not Bandmate or Love Bites or any of the rest, just Hanabiye. So I'll talk about them a little bit. But the main focus this time is Kingslayer, which is a song that, given my background, I'm really not supposed to like, but really, really do. First, a quick thank you. This week I passed 300 subscribers and closing in on 20,000 total views, which is a speck of dust on the YouTube landscape, but certainly more than I expected for a dope arguing with himself about baby metal. Also, a quick wrap up of the top 5 experiment. It was pretty consistent. Kagero and Syncopation were in the top spots, and the rest were sort of a rotating collection of newer songs, recent versions of older ones, and some Sue solos. On the other hand, in the last 2 weeks, there have been regular sightings of Catch Me If You Can, Sis Anger, Uki Uki Midnight, and even a few plays of Over the Future. So the only thing I'm sure of is that in 6 months, it won't be the same list. This is Metal with a Girl's Heart, Episode 7. My favorite genre is baby metalcore. As mentioned at the top, YouTube is convinced itself that I should like the band Hanabiye, and I do, sort of, some songs. Better than the other female Japanese bands I've checked out in any event. But the suggestion seems odd to me. I mean, what's the connection to baby metal besides being young Japanese women? Musically and style-wise, they have nothing in common. So I'm going to take a slight sideways turn and look at Hanabiye for a few minutes, though bringing in other groups won't be a regular thing. The channel is dedicated to baby metal, and I'm not going to be becoming a reactor or something. Once Girl's Heart wraps, you'll probably never see my ugly mug again. And it's time to get back to the written word, which I'm much better at it and get paid for. So with that in mind, if you look at the description, you might notice a Ko-fi link. Now, I'm not trying to say this content is worth paying for, but doing these has meant a chunk of lost income, so feel free to drop a quarter in the hat if you like. But even so, I can't tell you how great this has been, and I hope that comes across. This is my first real labor of love project in a long time, something I actually get excited about, and it's been just what the doctor ordered. So, enough of that. Back to the program. Now, YouTube is right, and Hanabiye does deserve a look, and I really want to like them. I mean, for instance, I often enjoy bands with some rough edges to them, unlike baby metal. On fan cams, Hanabiye gives off some of that 4 drunk friends in a garage energy that I like. But there are some problems. This is maybe just a personal thing. First, they describe their music as Harajuku core, which apparently is not just about music. It is, let's see, quote, a broader cultural movement encompassing fashion, art, and a unique sense of style and expression, unquote. But one of my favorite features of baby metal is their style is baby metalcore. And that's all you ever need to know. They're the anti-trend band. They're unselfconsciously uncool. There will be no question about how they'll carry themselves or what they'll be wearing. I mean, they are their own genre in all things, not just music. Paradoxically, that sameness is pretty innovative. And it's a breath of fresh air in an industry that wants women to put being sexy or a fashion and lifestyle brand first and music second. But style groups are the opposite. They're extremely self-conscious. I mean, again, paradoxically, trying to have a, quote, unique sense of style and expression is actually very limiting. It's waving the flag of like, look at me over here being cool, but it can only be the right kind of cool. So it's like the people I mentioned in a previous episode who are always saying, be yourself and dance like no one's watching. And then it turns out they don't actually mean it, right? I mean, sure, be yourself, but only if it's in one of the approved ways. Baby metal doesn't play that game, and I love them for it. So who really has a unique style? The one who's just trying to be different, or the one who actually is? Just a thought. As far as musical comparisons, vocally Sue sings with a very different style and without, and this is important to me anyway, the excessive, harsh, and ironic little girl voices that Yukina uses. More on that in a bit. I like baby metal's themes. They're non-specific, they're upbeat, and they paint a world where cynicism isn't a thing. Hanabiye does have the advantage of being funny, which is excellent, but they're also very pointedly cynical and speak to the lives of 20-something women in Tokyo, which obviously I don't much have a chance of relating to. But they're definitely not bad. I mean, Pardon Me, I Have to Go is a great song. It's got a reasonable balance of the clean, harsh, and little girl vocals. And they make sense with the lyrics. It also has an angry, edgy sense of humor, like when the go along to get along office worker finally snaps. Sir, the results of the employee satisfaction survey are in, and it's nice that the actor who plays the boss gets to be the cool bartender and limo driver in Girls Talk. So, final review. Interesting, funny but sharp message, heavy instrumentals, and the shemison's a nice touch. The various types of vocals fit, solid song. So far I bought Pardon Me, Girls Talk, and Be the Gal, but not any albums because listening to the clips on iTunes got monotonous. And Baby Metal never sounds the same 2 songs in a row, and that has spoiled me. But unfortunately, Hanabiye, or really almost any other band, can't do that. I mean, there are advantages to writing teams and hiring top-flight instrumentalists. Matsuri, Hetsu, and Chika can play their instruments, but I mean, compared to the Kami band, it's like AA minor league versus the majors. So they're limited not only by what they can write, but also by what they're able to play. And Baby Metal doesn't have those limits. Now, I gripe about harsh vocals. I've rewritten this episode so many times, I'm getting cross-eyed because every draft just devolves into a rant about them. So maybe I'll put out a side video on the topic. But for now, instead of 10 minutes of old man yelling at clouds, here's the Cliff Notes version and we can just move on. For me, overuse of harsh vocals is a blight. I mean, at least they used to mean something. They made a statement. Now it's sort of trite, like the only point of growling is to growl. I mean, it feels unpleasant and stale, except when it's so pompous it cracks me up. And avoiding all that was a big part of what drew me to Baby Metal in the first place. And needless to say, their choice of collaboration partners on the new album is not the gift I would have asked for. But I'm not saying harsh vocals are always bad. I mean, for instance, for Hanabiye, I like them on Pardon Me because they fit the mood. But they take a big chunk of the fun out of My Type, which hurts. That song could have been a masterpiece. If they sounded like this 1-minute edit I put together, I'd be doing videos about them too. Now on the positive side, you have Oli Sykes' variety of vocals that work well in Kingslayer. They fit the lyrics and convey the fury in ways that, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not sure clean vocals could. But crucially, they aren't all the same, which is the problem with From You to Me. In that one, Baby Metal's part has this angry lyrics but kawaii vocals, right? So he needs something angry sounding to compensate. But it didn't really work because of Poppy's vocal limitations, as I went through in the song breakdown a while back. On the other hand, I just saw a fan cam of her live in Berlin, and she sounded better. I mean, if she's been working on her technique, then the harsh parts will fit, and when the live version comes out, it will be better than the album version, as always. Okay, enough of that. It's time to get on to the good stuff. Kingslayer. Take it away, new guy.
But they call it Project Kingslayer.
Okay, we got a song I haven't heard from a band I've never heard of, but apparently Baby Metal is in here somewhere. Does anybody ever go to a Baby Metal show and think, you know what, they need more lights? Ah, here they come. And see, we're already this is seeing one of the dangers of sharing a stage with Baby Metal. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, they are way more fun to look at than you. I don't think very many people are going to be watching the band. Okay, Bring Me to the Horizon coming in hot. Well, that's interesting. We got some big girl choreo going on here. I mean, compared to their usual anyway, it's nothing by modern standards, but they are definitely not kids anymore. Those hips are whispering truths that would make a pastor blush.
Are you looking for the other side? Feeling nothing ever seems quite right. Are you still killing the drain pipe? Getting off from pain like I need to know where your loyalty is like. Tell me how you gonna back up, boy. Do you really wanna twist a knife in the belly? Get the fuck up, get the fuck up. Wipe the system and move the fuck up. You're a puppet when you got your streaks up. Go, go, go.
All right, so here we go. F this, F that, anger and alienation. I mean, this is what Baby Metal is supposed to avoid. And besides, here's the thing. I say it now. Harsh vocals suck, and I'm never going to change my mind on that. I hate to say it, but that's not exactly true. Seriously, what causes that? This song. Oh, fuck me. Ah, finally Sue arrives to class up the joint. God damn, she sounds good. I'm not sure how Sue's lyrics fit the theme of the song, but it was gorgeous. Just loved it. And in other news, I want to be a rock star so I can go to Japan and yell, "Let's go Tokyo." I love the energy of the song. Ooh, cool, another verse. And in Japanese this time. That is some funky choreo. Okay, sure. Your corrupted kawaii style. Love it. So I have to be 100% honest here. I mean, as beautiful as Sue's vocals are, and they are gorgeous. Just big, angry, loud music. She's just soaring over the top of it. Oh, makes my heart ache a little bit. But for all my big talk about being less cynical, I still have a big old soft spot for this kind of earth-shaking negativity. All the happy, the sun will come up eventually talk can't change the fact the world's fucking dark right now. And this song is getting me riled up. I mean, Baby Metal is usually like a silk-covered hammer, say, but now it's more like a silk glove on an angry, clenched fist. Oh, such a beautiful melody line for that situation. Such sublime work from the Queen. God, that's pretty.
is your wake-up call. We're going down a rabbit hole. Are you ready? I can feel it.
That is such a glorious moment. That's just all out fury, raw scream from the heart over this brutal music. It's just emotion in bucket loads. I would say the yay and Moa's playful smile would be weird as in this context. Except it is very baby metal. I mean, these are the girls that made Kill the Enemy sound cute. I need to hear that again.
This is your wake-up call. We're going down a rabbit hole. Are you ready? I can feel
That was what I came back to heavy music for. Right, all that right there. That was some epic headbanging. That was a lot of hair on all those people, and they put it to very good use. Oh, I hate to say it because all my classical friends and all my music profs would hate to hear this, but this is going to be a favorite song someday. I can feel it. And that prediction came true. It did become a favorite. Turns out that's what the inside of my head looks and sounds like on a bad day. I do want to pause for a shout out to Bring Me the Horizon. It should have been obvious in Baby Metal's early years that three teenage girls on the metal tour didn't even speak English. They certainly didn't deserve anger and ridicule. I mean, no matter what you thought of their music, that's not rude. It's just lack of basic humanity. What they needed was supporters, or just the bare minimum, friendly faces. And Ollie was both. Bless you. And now here's some moments in the song I like that reactors often fail to mention. Now presenting some Kingslayer moments that make me happy. Puppet-inspired choreography. Somebody get Ollie a gas axe. Well, you don't sound corrupted. Now this is the way you use your hair. Not all backbends are created equal. Considering the mood of the song, these two are having a great time. Are you sure you've been listening to the lyrics? Moa is definitely living her best life. Why do so many reactors ignore this? It's the best part of the song. Forget neck braces, brace the damn stage. That time, two of you totally nailed the hair flip. And finally, Dead Puppet Society. So you may or may not recall that I was griping about the production of Sue's voice on From Me to You, but I'm also on record calling the album version of Kingslayer a musical crime, as voluntary voice slaughter by whoever was behind the board. I was going to give some comments on this, but I get too worked up about it. I need to turn it over to someone calmer. Look, every vocalist has weaknesses. I mean, that's life. Now, one of Sue's is that she has an unusually high voice, and high register notes risk having a sort of a thin sound that is lacking depth and resonance. And that's not all her fault, it's just physics. I don't know if there's a basic video out there on the physics of music and the overtone series and so on. If not, I could do one. It helps explain a lot. But the upshot is that if Sue's voice is processed in a way that strips out the warmth, then Baby Metal can end up sounding like Alvin and the Chipmunks. So listen to this clip that alternates the studio and live versions of Kingslayer and hear the not so subtle differences. I mean, yes, the live version was obviously cleaned up, and yes, she's a better singer now, but the original was recorded in a studio. They had complete control, and this is what they chose to release. She sounded better than this at 14. Anyway, that's enough ranting for one day. Until next time, be well and be kind. I think Moa may be back, and you don't want to be a disappointment to her.